very good in the secondary. I don't know that their linebacking position is great. Bruce Irvin's a nice addition. I like Ben Heaney. I just think that they have some problems in coverage and some scheming issues when you're asking guys to cover wide receivers. I saw a lot of it last week against the Saints. You cannot ask Malcolm Smith to cover Brandon Cooks. That's not something that works, Ken Norton. Stop that. Stop putting linebackers on wide receivers. It doesn't work. But I think the Raiders win this game going away. You got thoughts?
I love the Raiders in this one.
Yeah.
I love the Raiders. Atlanta going to the West Coast. There's always something with that. I like the Raiders going away with this one. Like you said, I don't think Atlanta's very good, especially on the defensive side of the ball.
They're not. Yeah.
So I like the. I'm gonna roll with the silver. I'm gonna roll with the silver and black to win this one. Pretty nice, pretty handily.
I like it too. I do think this game would potentially go over at 48 as well. A lot of scoring in the NFL this year. Play these overs early in the season. I think that's where some of the scratch can be made. But I do think the Raiders win this game going away from a fantasy aspect. You're going to start Julio Jones. I don't know that you particularly want to start Devonta Freeman. I think Tevin Campbell is going to slowly earn this job. He earned it last year. It was his job before he got hurt. And Devonta Freeman just had a really nice season in a run-first offense in Atlanta. They just really tried to play some ground control. Matt Ryan's not the same player he was 3 or 4 years ago. I don't know if it's the absence of Dirk Cutter, who seemingly is very good to young quarterbacks. Him and Jameis are gelling exceptionally well. Matt Ryan's not the same guy. He does have the great security blanket that is Julio Jones, but you take Tony Gonzalez away from Matt Ryan, and all of a sudden inside the 20, it's not as easy. When Tony Gonzalez was there, and Tony Gonzalez's last season in the NFL, he put up some touchdown numbers inside the 20. He was a security blanket for Matt Ryan. Matty Ice is not the same player. Raiders side of the ball, fantasy perspective, running back situation starting to scare me. That coaching staff, for whatever reason, actually I know why, and it's the same reason, I don't trust Latavius Murray. Just don't. I don't think that is his job. I don't think it's as secure as he might believe. That this Jalen Richard kid, an undrafted free agent, really popped in the preseason, popped in the 75-yard touchdown run against the Saints last week. Poor tackling, but he broke a nice run, but really shitty tackling. Don't be surprised if Latavius Murray does not see the bulk of the carries this week. Maybe he's going to see 15 touches, but Richard and DeAndre Washington are going to see another dozen touches. They're going to take away from Latavius Murray, so he might not be your number one start if you have a better choice, but still start Latavius Murray against an Atlanta Falcons defense that struggled with the underneath pass, struggled covering the check down. That just seems to bode well for Jalen Richard and DeAndre Washington, who are the better pass catchers than Murray. You start Amari Cooper, you start Michael Crabtree. If you're short on a tight end, you do start Clive Walford. He's going to get a red zone target. Seth Robertson.
Yeah, man, I need one of those Chappelle boxes, man. Wrap it up, B.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, but I get fired up talking about the Raiders. I'm going to start doing
I understand that. I get it.
How it goes, man, but good call. I will wrap it up. Raiders -4.5 all day and all night.
Love it too. Amari Cooper, love that. My quick fantasy injection. Amari Cooper, Derek Carr, all day, every day in this one. And Julio Jones, start against that Raiders secondary. Absolutely.
I think so. I'm actually looking forward tomorrow, so can't wait. Sunday, 4:30. This is our last 4:30 game of Sunday. It's the Jacksonville Jaguars traveling all the way across the country to beautiful San Diego, California. Home of the Chargers and the state tax.
Another terrible game.
It is. I think Jacksonville, despite the travel, I like them as a 3-point road dog. I know San Diego's probably a little bitter after coughing away that lead last week against a division rival, but dear God, Jacksonville Jaguars like to sling the ball all over the field. They're getting receivers into the mix. Chris Ivory is out for this game again. I don't know what's wrong with him, but he was released from the hospital. Thankfully, that's good for the kid. But, yeah, Jacksonville travels out there. They're going to give the Chargers a hell of a game. Chargers are not going to go quietly into the good night, but I think Jacksonville wins this game on the road. They're the better football team.
Yeah, I like Jacksonville. I think they show they have improved this week. They hung with a very good Green Bay Packers team at home. Actually put themselves in a chance to win last week. I like Jacksonville. I think they go on the road and steal this one as well.
I do too. I don't know how much of that Jacksonville-Green Bay game you watched last week, but Jacksonville, they were down inside the 30.
I actually did peer on it a little bit. They played them very well. They should not hang their hats after that one. They played a very good team, the best quarterback in the world, and they held their own. They played well.
Hey, if there is such a thing as a good home loss, that was it. T.J. Yeldon played really well. They tried to force the ball to Allen Robinson quite a bit, and he was covered well. Now, Jason Verrett in San Diego is going to be on Allen Robinson again this week, so this is where you might want – we had some fantasy questions online. You might want to lean towards Allen Hurns on the other side of this and Julius Thomas as Jaguar receivers because they're going to get looks if Verrett can blanket Allen Robinson, but Allen Robinson's quite a bit bigger than Jason Verrett, so he might have the leaping advantage, might have a little bit of a speed advantage as well, but Verrett's a pretty good corner. Look for the secondary receivers in Allen Hurns and Julius Thomas to get looks. Jacksonville wins this game. It's a high-scoring game, though. I think Seattle is going to sling it all over the place. Absence of Keenan Allen certainly doesn't help. Tyrell Williams is a big fantasy pickup this week as a number 2 receiver for the Chargers. And look, Travis Benjamin, who I'm not crazy about, he's going to get 15 looks. This is a shootout. I think don't be afraid to start a Travis Benjamin. Jacksonville's defense not that good. So that could be interesting. If you don't have anything to add, we'll jump into Sunday night.
No, I don't. The only thing I'm at is I'm not watching that game. I don't care.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Well, your Jets play Thursday night, so you got free reign.
Yeah, I sure do.
You're not tied
It's
down.
nice.
You can drop the leash and do whatever you want. Sunday night, that's a pretty good game. I love these division matchups. Green Bay travels to Minnesota. Minnesota, this is their home opener in a very new stadium. Brand new, first game there. Minnesota is a 2-point home dog. New stadium, old quarterback, not Teddy Bridgewater. I think Green Bay goes in there and smacks them right in the mouth, but this is going to be a good football game.
I like Green Bay in this game as well. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to have a chip on his shoulder because I have seen a little bit of a behind-the-scenes chirp that Mike Zimmer may have the great Aaron Rodgers' number. Don't think a competitor like Aaron Rodgers isn't looking at that like, okay, really? You got my number, huh? All right, we'll see.
It's not funny you mention that because you do your research as well, but I saw that too, and that's not something that goes unnoticed from a player that's on the field when he hears things from coaches that are on the sideline. They love nothing more than to roll out there and stick it to them. Now, look, that Minnesota Vikings defense is pretty good. They showed it last week.
It's legitimate. They will win games alone because of that defense. And it is
legit. Mike Zimmer's legit. Good head coach. A lot of talent on the field. I still think that Green Bay will win this game by 6.
And, Aaron, this is the game I think where Aaron Rodgers is going to remind everybody this is why I'm still the fucking best.
Yeah, I think so. I do. A healthy Jordy Nelson certainly makes Aaron Rodgers better. Randall Cobb needs to step his game up, though, because he is not very good.
Exactly. He's one of those guys. Now you have Jordy back. Now you have no more excuses.
You got to show up.
You need to put out.
If Randall doesn't show up, you're going to see Devontae Adams move into that number 2 receiver role there. I did draft him in a couple deeper leagues thinking that this may be a possibility considering that Randall Cobb had so many problems last year as a number 1. He wasn't a very good number 1. Green Bay wins this game. They do, -2. Got a 43-point over. That's kind of a scary over because Minnesota's offense is in such question. You almost feel like you're relying on Green Bay to score all the points to get to that over, but it's just in that really weird spot where I don't like the underside of it. And who likes to play the unders? They're boring. You want to sit and watch nobody score. You never like that with Aaron Rodgers slinging the ball. He's going to take shots down the field. This is a primetime game in a new stadium, division rival. Aaron likes to beat the Minnesota Vikings. Aaron beats the Minnesota Vikings, I think 28-14. You might see a defensive touchdown for the Minnesota Vikings. That might be it.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it that high scoring, but I'll say somewhere along the lines of let's get. I don't know. I think a 20-10, 21-10, something like that.
More confident, but I respect your opinion. I respect your opinion.
I give Minnesota's defense credit. I do because I think they will. But I don't like the Vikings to score many points.
No, and Teddy Bridgewater's worth 3 more if you ask me. If he's on the field, this is a better football.
I don't like them to score. I don't like them to score many points, and I think Aaron Rodgers is going to have a good game, and I think they'll pull it out. I mean, maybe even 24-10, comfortable.
Yeah, I think so. We got the Monday night to go to, but I want to throw a little side bet at you here. And every week, the NFL Las Vegas releases a league total Sunday Grand Salami over/under. So what they're looking for is the total number of points scored on Sunday's games. And this week, I'm looking at it at 642.5. And I always find this interesting to see where we're at. So for this week, it's a lot higher. I think it was like around 598 last week. It was under 600 points, which is a little bit crazy because in the NFL, all those games on a Sunday early in the season. I'm going to put a little bit more research into this, and I'm going to come back to you after we see the weekend's totals. But I just think that these are fun. I think they might have inflated it quite a bit because of some of the high scoring last week. But it's just a fun number to look at, 642.5. Let's see where it ends up when we talk about things on Tuesday night. Let's jump into Monday night's game and then wrap this up. Philadelphia travels to Chicago. This is a Monday night game I probably won't even I'll turn it on.
This might be a first half, depending on if I decide to drink Monday night or not.
That's right.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's a bad game. I think we have last I saw was a Chicago -3, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and that's what I'm looking at as well. Chicago -3 is a home dog. I probably take it back. I will watch this because I want to focus on Carson Wentz. I want to see what we have happening here. It looks like Doug Peterson's got some interesting things going on with the offense. He's mixing it up. Jordan Matthews is playing a very big part in this from the fantasy perspective. Darren Sproles didn't play a big part in the game against Cleveland last week where I thought he would. He only had 3 catches for like 20-some-odd yards. I thought he would be more involved, but Ryan Matthews is involved in that Eagles offense. In Chicago, look for Alshon Jeffrey to score a touchdown here and maybe have 80, 90 yards. Jay Cutler's got to get on the same page with Kevin White. Kevin White was drafted in the first round, top 10. If Cutler doesn't figure this out, Cutler's the one that's going. They don't like Chicago.
And to say it's put up or shut up time for Jay Cutler has been well outdated. I mean, it's been put up or shut up time for Jay Cutler, and he's just not. We just come to the conclusion he's just not that guy. He's just never going to be. He's got all the talent in the world, a bazooka for an arm, all the characteristics to go with it. But
leadership qualities are shit.
There's just something. Yeah, he's just. There's that it factor that he's missing. He's just not. Like I said, he's just not that guy.
He's not, and you look at him in his body language and all of these things, it's laughable. He's a caricature. Every time I see him, I think of Grumpy.
I was done with Jay Cutler way back in 2011 when his team, oh my God, you look at a guy like Brett Favre and Jay Cutler tweaks his knee in that game, and his team's on the NFC Championship games on the line against your hated rival, the Green Bay Packers, in Soldier Field, your home stadium. And you're on the fucking sideline pedaling a bike and letting Caleb Haney take the reins. I don't care. You look at guys like Brett Favre. You would have to Ben Roethlisberger, Brady, guys like that. That have that it factor. You would have to literally kill them to get them out of that game in that magnitude.
I agree. No, you'd have to break both of Brett's legs to keep him off the field. And Cutler said, sore. Look, Brandon Marshall trotted off the field, got looked at, and said, nothing serious. All right, let's go back out and win a football game.
Yeah. Man, that felt like an anvil off my back.
And I love Brandon Marshall as well. And I believe, was Brandon Marshall on that Bears team then?
No, he was not on there at that moment. He was on the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, I'm having a moment. I'm sorry. I'm picturing Brandon Marshall having great seasons with Jay Cutler in Denver. Pardon me. I'm sorry.
He just
Cutler, great memory. Thanks for bringing that up because that's a great point. That was enough for me to be disgusted with him altogether.
Yeah, I was done at that moment. I was like, fuck this guy. I'm done. Yeah. I'm done with him. Like he's nothing. And then Chicago goes around, and that just must be a sign of a bad organization. After that, they go and give him millions of dollars. So, whatever.
You never know how hurt somebody is, and I'm nobody.
Well, you always hit that panic button. You always say a franchise quarterback's hard to find, so you hit the panic button as soon as that contract's up.
Yeah, you do. And it's tough to find. The guy's athletic. He's super talented, but he's all-world talent. He certainly is. But watching that body language and everything else, just everything about him, I wouldn't want him as my team quarterback.
No.
Not at all. So we did give some fantasy advice out this week via the message board on Spreaker. So please, if you're out there, hit us up on the message board or on Spreaker or the Line Sports Talk Podcast at TL317 on Twitter. Throw us some questions. We love talking about it. It keeps everything spinning. Friends of the show out there are bringing a bunch of listeners in with them, and we really do appreciate it. We're getting new followers every day, and we